like, why didn't you guys just bring me home? And he was like, well, I'm not gonna stop the homies from doing what they need to do because you fucked up and you did this and you did that and it's all your fault.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Callie. So today we're gonna be doing a story time, all right? And we are gonna go in the universal time machine. Take us back, all the way back to, can't believe this, the year was 2008. The month was June or July. June or July, I'm so sorry you guys. June or July of 2008. All right, go back with me. Go back with me. Y'all, so let's just put into perspective where I'm at in life right now. I graduated high school in 2006, so I have been out of high school for 2 years, and I am on the struggle bus. Okay, your girl's on the struggle bus. Okay. Around this time, my mom had just moved out of state, so I moved out of her house and I was living with my man at the time. We will call him, I don't know what to call him because, let me see. Looking around at my stuff and I'm trying to think of a good nickname. I'm sorry guys, give me a second. All right, sorry guys, I got a name. All right. We're gonna call the guy I was dating at the time Gorilla, because yeah, he has a tattoo of a gorilla and I can't really think of another nickname, so we're just gonna call him Gorilla. And just so you know, he is from a bunch of other story times. So let me see. He was in the story time I had when I said a thought tried to almost busted my truck window. That was this truck, and this was the guy I was with at that time also. And this was before then. He was Chewy. I think that was the name that I gave him. And he was also the guy that I went to the movies with, that the stalker followed us to the movies. So this person is going to be a returning character because I've been through a lot with this person. So Gorilla, me and Gorilla, we had just moved to Hemet with two of his friends. And, you know, it was us, you know, being out of both of our parents' houses. We were on the struggle bus just trying to make do with what we had. It was me and him literally against everyone. We were on the struggle bus, literally limited help to none. Okay. So we had moved to Hemet, which was 20 to 30 minutes from where we originally lived, which was Paris. So it's not that far, like 20 to 30 minute drive, not that bad. And I had just started this job, you know, not that long after we moved. I was working 2 jobs at the time. I was working 3 jobs because I was working at Pizza Hut, I was babysitting, and then I think I had a paper route around this time. Yeah, I had the paper route around this time too. So I technically had 3 jobs. Not gonna lie, your girl is and always have been a hustler, all right? Anyway, sorry to go off on that tangent. Just giving you guys a little backstory. So, you know, we had moved, you know, on our own for the first time with roommates, you know, living it up in our early 20s, you know, cooking meals together, bringing home pizza. Like it, you know, we were doing decent, okay? Like, yes, super stressed. Yes, I started drinking around this time. Like, it was crazy experience, but sorry to go off on the tangent. Just wanted to do a little backstory as to where I was with everything in general at that time. So it's just crazy to think about because I technically wasn't even supposed to work that day. Think about that as well. So I wasn't supposed to work that day. It was one of my off days, but of course someone called off and they called me to come in, and of course I'm going to come in because I need the money because we just moved, into our place, so I needed the money and I wanted to make a good impression. So of course if my job calls me to come in, I'm going to come in. And of course Gorilla was pissed. He was pissed because I can't remember if we had plans or not that day, or if it was just like a kick it day for us or whatever, but he was mad because I wasn't supposed to be working that day. We were supposed to kind of just maybe kick it at the house or whatever. But, me being me, I'm like, all right, yo, guys, I got you. I'll come in. And a Toyota Tacoma at the time, I had got it from my mom. I can't even remember what year it was, but it was a early 2000s Toyota Tacoma SR5. And it had the 4 seats, the 2 seats in the back, 2 in the front, and then the nice, truck bed. So the type of tires that I was using on this truck were, they were spare tires. So, and I had 2. And so you're not supposed to drive on spare tires for a very long time. It's supposed to be, maybe like a week or so. Well, of course, your girl being cheap as hell, going to a hood tire shop in the middle of Mead Valley. And if you don't know where Mead Valley is, it's fine because it's literally nowhere. It's nowhere. It's nothing. It's dirt. But being cheap, not having money, you have to do what you have to do. And I got 2 spare tires. I had them, one in the front. One on the front driver's side. Both of them were on the front. So 2 spares and then the 2 regular tires in the back. No, my bad. It was 1 spare in the back and 1 in the front. So we had 2 regular tires and then 2 spares. Okay. And I, at that time, my anxiety was through the roof, stressed out. Because, living on our own, all those things. And before I leave, I'm trying to rush to leave. And of course, Gorilla's pissed at me. He's upset. He's giving me attitude. He's like, look, before you go to work, make sure you stop and fill up the tires with air. I'm like, okay, I will. I start driving. I literally get 2 stoplights away. I'm stopped at the stoplight. I'm a little all over the place because I'm like, okay, once I get, past this area, there's literally 1 gas station until I get closer to my job. So there's the 1 gas station, and then you go for like at least 30 minutes before you hit another gas station, or before you even hit a business, because it's just like mountains and then like residential houses, right? So before I get to where that last gas station is, I'm at the second stoplight away from my house. Someone hits me. So I pull over. We pull into, I think it was a Walgreens right there at that corner. And I check my car and I check his car. The guy that hit me, his car has all the damage. The Tacoma had no damage. So of course I just continued driving. Side note, the old me would have stopped, pulled over, and called my boss and been like, hey, I got in a car accident, I can't come in. Because obviously at that time, and being that young and that much stress, I was shaken up by that little accident. And it was literally just a little fender bender, but the truck didn't get damaged at all. There was not a scratch, not a ding, not nothing. The person that hit me, their lights were shattered. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, are you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I stopped, but then I took my foot off the brake for a second and it rolled forward and I hit you. I am so sorry, but it looks like there's no damage. Would you like my insurance information? I'm like, no, you're fine. Like, there's no damage to me. So, you're fine. I appreciate you for stopping. You're all good. Excuse me. And of course I'm by myself. So when I'm by myself, I'm always on high alert. My anxiety at that time was always high. Like, to the point where I would physically, like, my hands would shake or, like, my heart would hurt. Like, it was just a very stressful time. So, that happened. And instead of calling off and going back home and, relaxing, my stupid self, I'm like, whatever, it's fine. I continued to drive. I stop at that last gas station. I'll never forget this. It was a AM/PM/Arco, right? I pull in to where the air pump is. I get out, I run in, I grab a Black and Mild. I will never forget this, all right? Either we had ran out of bud, we had ran out of bud, so I didn't get a chance to like smoke a little bit before I went into work, because we were broke at the time. And I go in, I grab my Black and Mild, I come out, I fill up the two tires, the two spares. I mean, I fill them up as good as I think I could. You know what I mean? Like at the time I was, but I wasn't that mechanically inclined with cars in general. I filled them up and I got out to driving. Y'all, this is where everything took a huge turn. I'm, driving down, I get out the gas station, I pull out the main street, and I'm just driving. And where I was driving, it was basically farmland. So where we were at in Hemet, basically where I was driving through, it's, I want to say 2 to 3 farms. So it's literally just like cows and like, all that stuff. So I'm just driving. Yeah, my anxiety's through the roof. Yes, I'm annoyed because I just want to get to my destination. You know what I mean? And I'm driving, and the way the lanes are, basically it's one way going this way and coming back. So it's one way highway, I guess you would say, but it's not just one highway. It's, one way, one going right, one going left. So we're, like that. And I get to the point where there's a slow person in front of me. Me being stupid, okay? Your girl was being dumb. I try to speed up and go around the person. Yeah, I do that. I try, but it does not work. It doesn't work. So I just say fuck it and just drive normal. Tell me why, as I'm driving, I can't even remember which tire it was that blew, but I had a tire blowout. So it blows out, and I'm like driving, and I turn to get off the freeway. And as when I turn, that's when the truck flips. And of course, as it happens, I like turn to get off of the street and it flips. So I'm assuming, now that I think about it, I think the front passenger tire blew. That's why, or the back passenger tire, one of the side tires blew. That's why when I turned to get off the street, it flipped. And I could have sworn I slowed down or took my foot off the gas. And as I go like this to get the car off the road, it flips. And as I'm doing this, I feel it flip, and I'm just like, no. And like, I think it flipped like 3 times. And then I like, I come to, and I'm like, oh my God. And I get out of the car, and guess what? I had no working fucking cell phone. I had no cell phone at that time. So, the car flips, and I grab, what I can, my purse or whatever, and I'm just like standing there like shaken up, and thank God someone pulled up behind me and was like, oh my God, are you okay, this and that. I'm like, yeah, can I please use your phone? He's like, you have a phone in your hand? I'm like, it doesn't work, I just use it as, like my phone book and to listen to music. So of course I call the house, and of course it goes to voicemail. Of course I'm like, hey, it's Callie, I just flipped the truck, please come pick me up. I'm right in between the farms and the mountains, like right before you get to the overpass to get into Paris and right by the lake. Please come get me. I flipped the car, and I hang up, and I keep trying to call back. And of course, the ambulance comes and everything, and I'm just like shaken up, and they're like, are you okay, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay. your girl was a hot mess, okay? Like, I had dirt all over me. My neck was covered in dirt. Like, I was dirty as hell. Like, it was terrible. I was sweaty. I was hyperventilating. Like, I was not okay. Tell me why Gorilla pulled up with our roommates in a car full of dudes. He pulls up cussing me the fuck out, y'all. He didn't hug me. He didn't do none of that. He just walked up and starts going clean the fuck off on me. What the fuck did you do? Why were you speeding? I talked to whoever's phone you borrowed. Why did you do this? Why did you that? He was just going the fuck in on me. And I'm just like standing there like shaken up, wanting to throw up on myself. But I, of course, had like nothing in my stomach at the time. I was dizzy. I was like, oh my God. Like, so of course I start crying. I get in the car with, Gorilla and the roommates, and of course I'm shaken up. I look like shit. I've been crying. And they get in the car and they continue to go wherever the fuck they were going. I can't even remember where we went. We ended up going to one of the roommates' uncle's house for a few hours, and I'm sitting there shaken up with dirt all over me, crying, like hyperventilating, like, and Gorilla was just very not caring. Like, he was just being an asshole. And I think we went to one other place, and then we drove, back home. But we were out and about for like a few hours. I'm out and about in front of people with dirt all over me, looking like a freaking crackhead. Like, I looked terrible. And it was just so messed up thinking back on it, because it's like I could have died. Like, there was just, and he wouldn't have known. Nobody would have known, because I didn't have a cell phone. My emergency contact, I don't even know who I had. I didn't have insurance. I didn't have an emergency contact. Like, I didn't have none of that. Like, so much stuff could have happened and nobody would have known. But yeah, so I had, got home. Of course, I'm still emotional. I'm still crying. And I get in the shower, and I'm like shaking in the shower. I'm like just trying to clean, what I can. I'm shaken up. I'm pissed. I feel like I don't matter. I'm like, this dude does not care about me. Like, what the fuck am I doing? I done moved out here with this man. I have nobody at this point in life. I literally had nobody. I wasn't talking to my dad. My mom just moved out of state, so she was, doing her thing. She wasn't really worried about me much, which was, it sucked. But yeah, and after I got out of the shower and stuff, I went, back in our room, and I sat there, and then that's when Gorilla decided to have some sympathy for me and was like, are you okay? I was so worried. So much could have happened. And like, he's like getting mad at me, but then trying to console me, but then getting mad at me. Like, it was a freaking roller coaster of emotion. I was just like, is this nigga serious? Like, the whole situation really pissed me off. Like, because it's like, why didn't he just bring me home? And I remember asking him too. I was like, why didn't you guys just bring me home? And he was like, well, I'm not going to stop the homies from doing what they need to do because you fucked up and you did this and you did that and it's all your fault and this and that. Now we got to figure out how we're going to get a car and this and that and how we're going to get from point A to point B. And now it's all on me and this and that and blah, 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 blah. And it was just like in my head, I'm like, okay, step the fuck up. Do what the fuck you say you're supposed to do as a man. Do all the things you say you want to do. Like, step the fuck up. And yeah, he did. We figured it out, and we were gonna, sorry guys, we were gonna buy a car from one of the roommates that had just bought a car. He didn't really need the car, you know what I mean? He more or less just bought it so he wasn't taking the bus or relying on other people. But yeah, long story short, the roommate did not give us the car. We were gonna make payments. Like, it was like, we agreed and everything. And long story short, he ended up selling the car to someone else. And of course, they ran the car into the ground. But yeah, of course, I had to take the bus from Hemet to Paris or Riverside, wherever my job was at the time. Of course, I made it work. I got up at the ass crack of dawn, did what I had to do, working multiple jobs. But yeah, moral of the story is, compassion. Like, looking back on it, there were so many things that could have been done differently. You know, Gorilla could have drove me to work. You know what I mean? Like, there were so many different avenues that could have been taken. He could have been more gentle with me. He could have been more apologetic. He could have put his foot down and been like, no, we need to take her home. We need to get her showered, instead of having me run around for hours with dirt on me, literal dirt on my neck. Like, it was disgusting, you guys. Like, that was one point in life where I've never felt so low, disrespected, unloved, like I didn't matter. Like, I just felt like I was nothing, like I didn't matter to nobody, because I wasn't talking to either of my parents for real. Like, the guy I was dating at the time just made me feel like the lowest of the low, and like I could have died. But yeah, that was the time that I flipped my Tacoma after just barely having it for not that long. I was buying it from my mom because it was her truck first, and then I bought it from her. Yeah, and it was just sucked, because I remember, you know, calling her and telling her what happened, and she was just like, okay, I'm sorry about all that, but how are we gonna get my money back for the truck? And I'm like, really? So I just checked it up as everyone was not in a good mental space at the time, I guess. Like, I don't know, but that was the story time about how I flipped my Toyota Tacoma. The man I was dating at the time cussed me out right after. He did not show compassion towards me for hours. He didn't hug me or hold me for hours. He waited until after we got home, after I had literally been sitting with dirt on me for hours. Like, I just really felt unloved at that moment. And that moment stuck with me for a really long time. It really made me see him in a different light. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was about the story time about how I flipped my Toyota Tacoma and almost died. I appreciate you guys so much for sticking around for this story time. If no one has told you today, I love and appreciate you guys beyond words. All right. I love doing YouTube. I love creating content. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're notified as to when I post good up to date. Possible giveaway coming in February. Be on the lookout. Rules and regulations will be down below. Check out a playlist as well. I have something for everyone. But until next time, mwah. Bye, guys.